sense a presence. A presence I haven't felt since Master.
Do it. Do it. Now. Do it. Do it. The Jedi are taking over. Do it now. Do it now.
Well, hello there, ladies and gentlemen, Gungans and droids and all you crazy Sith Lords out there. Hope you guys are having a fantastic day, wherever part of the galaxy you might be in. We are just wrapping up our first week of 3v3 Grand Arena, and although normally it's not the most exciting aspect of the game, this Darth Sidious Datacron shenanigans, we need to talk about it, and I hope it's been getting you more wins and giving you a little bit more excitement to pump in the Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. We have a lot of gameplay we're going to talk about and break down data. One of the biggest questions I've been getting is, what is the best way of using this Darth Sidious Datacron that we have? Because just like Maul said, well, it's been quite a while since we felt this type of power from Darth Sidious. I wanted to spell this straight from the get-go. I think that out of a lot of Datacrons, especially this one that's going to be very mainstream, I'm seeing one big misinterpretation. Some people are saying, I don't see any difference with Darth Sidious. And when I chat with them in the comments, it is very apparent right away that people are forgetting you need to be solo. Darth Sidious cannot have any other Sith with him. So if you're having a hard time utilizing the Datacron, I'm more than likely willing to bet it's probably because you're not letting Sidious go in a solo format. This won't work on defense unless somehow the opponent accidentally leaves him by himself on defense and they couldn't kill him off for some reason. So really, it's mainly to be an offensive tool in a solo format. So I hope that helps some of those people that were like saying, I don't see any difference. It's a massive difference, as we're gonna see. And we already talked about Darth Sidious about a week or two ago when the Datacron first dropped, but I want to put this on your radar again, just in case it's been a minute. I'm gonna show this little modding graphic from people that we showed not too long ago as a little reminder. But hey, the good news is when I went into my Grand Arena this past week, I forgot to remod Darth Sidious and I was still kicking some butt. So not a big deal if your mods aren't in place, but let's try to maximize the opportunities that you have. And hey, if you need some help with remodding your roster as well, talk to Pimpo. He'd be more than happy to help you out with your modding game. So let's go ahead and start rolling some gameplay, and then towards the end here, we'll go ahead and show you even more data that we have at our disposal. So these first two battles that we're going to show is me going up against a variety of things with my Darth Sidious. However, the biggest downside of Grand Arena is I only get 3 Grand Arenas a week, and that means I only can use this Darth Sidious 3 different times. The first time I went up against a Jedi Knight Luke lead, and I think Jedi Knight Luke lead with Jedi Master Luke caused some complications, maybe because of my bad mods, but Jedi Knight Luke lead really wrecks the massive speed boost that Sidious gains from this Datacron, because we get 100 extra speed. So I had a hard time getting that working, but there are a lot of other Jedi Master Luke compositions he can beat, but I had amazing success up against Starkiller and up against Dr. Aphra, and the numbers are showing that as well. A very good utilization of Darth Sidious. Very good. Yeah, I mean, those are some 2 solid teams right there that he can take down. But we have many, many others after this Starkiller battle here. And I want to give a special thanks to the community. This is some of my favorite stuff. When there's something really cool and hot, whether it's a new character, a rework, an Omicron, or in this situation, the rare situation, a very popular Datacron, because a lot of people have a Relic 7 Sidious laying around on their roster. We have a lot of gameplay from the community, so be sure to check them out if you want to chat with them, ask more about their experience. You'll see a lot of credits for the rest of this video, and there's a lot of interesting stuff that I wouldn't think would really work, but it did. For example, we're seeing some good degree of success. Darth Sidious up against Reva. Yeah, it's kind of nutty. Remember, the whole core of this, most of these battles, you're not seeing Darth Sidious brute force his way through these teams just through his damage. You want to get those 5 stacks of damage over times, because with that level 9 bonus on the Darth Sidious Datacron, when an enemy starts their turn with 5 stacks of damage over time, instant defeat. So we're seeing things like Reva easily getting through that. Things like Malgus, even crazy things like some Jedi Master Luke stuff. Some of my opponents fought my Master Luke on defense with their own Darth Sidious, and even nutty stuff. Things I was like, that's not gonna work. Up against things like Sarah Junda, Terran Malicos. So we got a lot of cool stuff for the remainder part of this video here. Now, in terms of the Galactic Legend Hemisphere, if you really wanted to up the ante, dial up the heat on your Darth Sidious. It seems like the best GLs to use your Sidious up against would be Jedi Master Luke. There's a variety of Jedi Master Luke stuff, such as, for example, the Bas Lashan lead, or even just a normal Jedi Master Luke lead. Darth Sidious is doing some pretty solid work. And we're also seeing some pretty solid success up against things like, for example, Sith Eternal. Somehow, Darth Sidious seems to be a little bit better than maybe his Galactic Legend counterpart in the game, albeit only temporary. Don't get me started. I wish this was something a little bit more permanent. Want the downside data crowns, but hey, you know, it's here. It's definitely a great giveaway for the community for these next couple months that we have here. In terms of other Galactic Legends, I'm not seeing much, but we do have some bonus gameplay at the end. We already showed Sith Eternal versus, not Sith Eternal, Darth Sidious versus a variety of things in our last video talking about Darth Sidious, but we have some bonus gameplay at the end. I know we're not in 5v5 Grand Arena. I think he might have a little bit more wiggle room in a 5v5 sense. For example, taking out Supreme Leader Kyle Ren. But in terms of the non-galactic legend hemisphere, a crazy night and day improvement, going from a character you would never use to even taking down things like Darth Malgus. Once you get those 5 stacks of damage over time, game, set, match. We got some other interesting stuff that's on the agenda. Some stuff that I was a bit worried of going up against. For example, Dark Trooper, Moff Gideon. We have some gameplay from SWGOH gameplay. That's the channel name right there. I wanted to do this so badly, but again, you know, especially the first week of the new character, you know, Datacrons and just the 3v3 format, you kind of get a little hesitant. That's why we're making this video, to kind of dispel some of those hesitancies that even I myself had. I figured with Dark Trooper, Moff Gideon, super durable, plus we have some cleanses on the Scout Trooper as well. And on top of it, the Dark Trooper itself, the spawnable one, kind of hits like a nutbag. But thanks to the fact that we have a crazy amount of max health, max protection, and defense, and there's no assisting allowed with this Darth Sidious Datacron, I was actually fairly impressed. The fact of the matter is that we got through this eventually. Even when Gideon was able to pop a revive, still really no issue whatsoever. So we're able to get out there, get another round of damage over times in this gameplay that we see here, and still was able to get him knocked down. And again, it's very helpful that you're able to get the constant cooldown reset. So every single turn, he's getting his turn in there, resetting his cooldowns. It always has that AoE, and bada bing, bada boom, Sidious is in the room, honey. Now we got some other stuff. If you don't believe this gameplay because there was no Moff Gideon with that Dark Trooper Moff Gideon, we have some gameplay from I Fly Dad, showcasing a more standard lineup that we have inside the Grand Arena meta with Moff Gideon, both Gideons, I should say. It's a little bit different of a cookie to cut up here, but again, same thing. Eventually, Sith Eternal. I almost feel like this should be a Sith Eternal. It's not, though. With Darth Sidious, he's able to eat up all those hits. If you can't especially assist on him, and that's why he's really good up against things like Jedi Master Luke, because Jedi Master Luke relies on assist. It don't work in this capacity. Eventually, he just gets a bunch of turns, gets the 5 stacks damage over time. Insta kill, no brainer, easy plays, my friend. So, Moff Gideon, this might be something I might utilize. Although I was able to beat Starkiller after, which is really cool. For me, I see Dark Trooper Moff Gideon kind of being a pain point with the Datacron right now. Pretty gnarly team. I have counters normally, but this seems to be a little bit nicer, in my opinion. However, that's not all we have, ladies and gentlemen, Gungans and droids. We got some other stuff on our agenda that, again, surprised me moving forward here. This gameplay right here from Truffa. Hopefully I'm saying their name correctly. I was not expecting something like this because of the fact that there's a lot of tenacity, all this other jazz in a Sierra Junda lineup. But as we progressed through this gameplay, we were able to see this individual just chop through all this and get rid of all the buffs that are on the Sierra Junda team, start applying those damage over times. And the good thing about this too, what is one of the functions of Malchus? He needs to constantly be assisting. He can't assist because of that Darth Sidious Datacron. So eventually, the 5 stacks gets on, and that's it. That's all there was to it. So this is another big feat that we have here. So we're going to talk more about other 3v3 things in case this doesn't satisfy your interest. But I want to leave some bonus gameplay. We've already shown some preliminary Darth Sidious gameplay before Grand Arena kicked off. But I just want to put out there, I think he's going to have even more potential likely in a 5v5 scenario. Like we see here, we have a Darth Sidious that Clay Olsen was able to go up against, and you know, again, pretty crazy stuff. If they can't get assists, and Sidious has some crazy amount of durability on him, it really goes to show how far this Datacron can really take you to the distance. So we're gonna let that Supreme Leader Kyle Ren go into the ultimate here, and we'll be off to the races at that point. Pretty close battle. You know, it's a little sketch, but Clay Olsen said in the comments of this video, he made it 3 out of 3 on a Supreme Leader Kyle Ren. So that seems pretty cool. So I'm looking forward to 5v5. We're still a couple of weeks away, but in the meantime, let's go highlight a few more things on what we're able to do right now with Darth Sidious in 3v3. We have thousands and thousands of battles that we can break down. Gary, let's go ahead, pull it up, honey, and let's show you what we got cooking here. So, over on SWGOH.gg, the data just came in. Across the board, with everything mixed together, we're seeing Darth Sidious have about a 76% win rate in 16,000 battles. If we're talking about solely him against Galactic Legends, as I already kind of summarized, there's not too much there, but primarily, if you are going to do this, it seems like the biggest opportunities are going to be going up against Jedi Master Luke, for example. That seems to be a pretty good thing. Now, we have a lot of people trying to go up against Jabba the Hutt, and we're able to get a couple of like multi-shots. You know, you get rid of Bausch Leia, get rid of Kersantin. That might be a useful strategy, but Jedi Master Luke, which is something I was putting on defense this past week, Sidious has a 90% win rate up against. Pretty gnarly stuff. Again, similar thing of Leia. Some people are using Darth Sidious to kind of crack through some of the first few units on a Leia team. But if you're trying to one-shot, maybe not the best way to go. Same thing of Rey. We're not seeing a lot of opportunities there. Perimeter counter and some struggles in a 3v3 would seem. But as we can see, for example, Sith Eternal, we do have some opportunities where Darth Sidious makes work happen. Because why? Sith Eternal can't link a solo character. So pretty much the guy can't get any insta kills popping off then and get his ultimate charge going. So really, Jedi Master Luke, Sith Eternal are going to be your two main areas of opportunity here, or maybe you break apart some of these key members of the teams for the other Galactic Legends out there. But how about this? Let's talk about those non-GL things a little bit more. Now, we already showed some gameplay versus a variety of things, but there's some other stuff. So against Starkiller, I had a great success. No issue whatsoever against Starkiller. Can't assist, so they can't really get the whole engine going. 98% win rate, very nice. Resistance have been kind of nutty this season with their new Datacron set. We're seeing about a 95% success win rate. Again, that was a battle I was a bit hesitant to do myself. Seems like there's some success there, getting those insta kills out. Malgus seems to be pretty safe. Now Gideon, we did see a lot of Gideon stuff. Maybe got to be a bit more hesitant about a 60% win rate there. Other Malgus battles, especially without Darth Road and Bastila Shan, near 100%. Surprisingly enough, some people getting wins up against Tuskens, 77% win rate. Now, I was thinking, oh, well, there's no damage over times on Tuskens. It won't work. I'm guessing maybe just the constant AoE bombardment eventually chips away at the Tuskens. Again, we saw some gameplay earlier with Maliko's 82%, nothing to scoff at. That's going to maybe save you a Malgus. That maybe will save you a Gideon. That maybe will save you a Traya or Galactic Legends versus Malikos. Kind of a big deal. Some other Gideon battles, again, if you don't see the OG Gideon and Scout Trooper, it's a little bit easier of a team. 88% win rate. Surprisingly enough, CLS could be a bit of a struggle, 68% win rate. But there are some teams you probably want to stay away from, things that have lots and lots of cleanses because, well, you can't get the insta-kill then. So, for example, Captain Rex, very low win rate, but it makes sense. There's a lot of cleanses on the team here. Now, we did show some Reva stuff earlier on, and I think maybe the reason why we saw some success was because there was no the Grand Inquisitor, who has pretty substantial cleanse. Now, not to say people haven't had success. There were definitely some people that have success, but I think more often than not, it's going to be a bit more of a struggle with that Grand Inquisitor kind of being in there. And then, of course, Seven Sister getting a lot of foresight could kind of get in the way. So it's nice to see that there's some opportunities, but yeah, maybe it's one of those where if you don't need to, I'd stay away from him. Now, some people went up against the Galactic Legend Chirrut. Kind of scary again. There's a lot of cleanses on a Chirrut team, and right now, with the Datacron, yeah, you don't want to really feed Chirrut any more debuffs. Again, a lot of other Malgus stuff out there. Again, kind of odd. It looks like against the standard Darth Revan team, kind of a lower percent win rate. So this is why we're talking about this, because some things you think it would work, it does work, and some things you think it wouldn't work, it does work here. A lot of Qui-Gon Jinn battles that we have going on here. However, if you are going to go up against Seer Junda, watch out. Baby Cal with Malicos could cause problems, but no one's really putting this lineup down because Padme Amidala gets through it really easy with her cheese. So you can really see there's a lot of great opportunities. General Anakin Skywalker, normal Grand Inquisitor team, pretty much almost anything else near 100%, exact 100% win rate on Dr. Aphra. Lots and lots and lots of ways to be using this guy. But again, you want to watch out for those Captain Rexes. Again, things that have a lot of cleanses, you might want to try to avoid, not get too involved. We got even Maul. Well, that's a pretty nutty as well. So people. Hopefully, I know Datacrons, the hit or miss. Unfortunately, my free-to-play account, I was not able to get the Darth Sidious Datacron, even though I re-rolled a few times. Kind of a bad feeling. I'm hoping, though, a grand majority of you guys were able to get your Darth Sidious in line, because really, this guy is making a big splash in this Grand Arena meta. We had this for a couple months. Hopefully we can get it, if not this conquest, the next conquest in a few weeks here. It's kind of a big deal. I wouldn't quite say it's Darth Bane level power, but for a character that's legacy, came here day one and has been trashed for about 90% of the game. Maybe trashed a bit too hard. Not great for 90% of the game. This is great, especially since it's shoved down our throats for all those relic requirements for the Sith Eternal unlock. People, I'm gonna leave it for you guys right there. Thank you for stopping by. Hopefully you're a little bit excited about this guy, and he's going to get you a couple more wins moving forward, and hopefully we're able to kind of clarify some misconceptions about what Darth Sidious's Datacron is supposed to do and how it works. But I just want to make sure you guys know as well that when you're around here, I want to make sure you're having a good time, because one of our mottos is, I think we've maybe said this once or twice, we want to make sure that you're saying at the end of the day how it's great to be in the Empire today. Oh, it's great to be in the Empire today. The sun never sets.